Hello everyone, this is Jimmy and welcome to episode 14 of FTB Interactions. Some of you might remember that this area here used to look slightly different. Where all these conduits are used to be the SFM cables, but I've swapped it out for conduits because using a programming mod to do what conduits does is silly. So it's all conduits now, no more SFM. Anyways, let's move on to what I want to do today, and that is start producing stainless steel for HV machines. To do so, we need a HV blast furnace. I've moved our MV blast furnaces over to here. You can see these are MV, and now they're powered directly by MV power, as opposed to 4 amps of LV power to step it up. We will do a similar thing to do HV, except we'll do 4 amps of MV power to produce HV power. So, that's not the right cable. Let me go get some mana steel cables so I don't burn it. I'm glad it only burned the one piece of cable I placed and not the entire cable network. There we go. Using the right cable causes it to not burn. We put our input, our energy input hatches, the EBF block, and the coils. So because these are sharing coils, it only takes 10 coils to add a new blast furnace to the row, as opposed to if they weren't sharing, it would take 16. But we get to save a little bit on coils. Anyways, we can see here is a HV EBF, and if I take some of this aluminum and put it in here, it can still process it. It'll just process it faster. I should extend this a bit so I'm not just barely not falling off. But as you can see, compare this rate to this rate, right? This is the rate you get it at MV. This is the rate you make it at HV. It's in fact exactly 2.8 times faster. That's the overclocking logic for higher tier or for higher than, I think it's 8 EU a tick recipes. For less than 8 EU a tick recipes, it's 2 times faster per tier. Don't ask me why it's different. Anyways, that's the easy part. That's just making the blast furnace. Now we need to make stainless steel. So stainless steel here is, bookmark that, an alloy of iron dust. That's easy. Nickel dust, easy. Chrome and manganese dust. Those are slightly trickier. Is this the same ratio? Iron and yeah, I think that's the same ratio. Okay. So let's look at how we get these. I think manganese might come directly from an ore. Let me see if I have manganese. I do not appear to have manganese ore. I have magnesite. However, that processes into magnesium, not manganese. So I think we're going to have to get this from centrifuging or electrolyzing something or another. I have tantalite, so I can electrolyze that, I guess. Or perhaps it's some other byproduct. I don't know. I'll look around for sources of that. Scheelite, tantalinite. Oh, I guess I don't get pulverizer byproducts yet. Anyways, chrome is a little bit easier. I know this comes from electrolyzing ruby dust. Yeah, and or redstone, I think, is the other option. Or is it centrifuging redstone? I know you can get it from redstone. Anyways, but I have plenty of rubies I'm not using, so I'll just electrolyze ruby dust to get the chrome, and with that we can make stainless steel dust. This would be so much easier to get if I could get pulverizer secondaries. For manganese specifically, for one piece of tantalinite ore, we get let's see, it's 14% plus 8.5 a tier. It's LV recipe, so it's 2 tiers. So 19 plus 14, what is that, like 33? I'd get 30, right? For each tantalinite ore, I get 1/3 of a manganese. I think that's actually more. I get more manganese from byproduct than I do from the primary, I think, right? Because I get 4 of these, but each one of these is only 1/9 of a manganese. So I guess no, you get 1/3 and 4/9, which is more than but my point is, this will be much easier with the MV Macer or HV Macerator. Unfortunately, we need this to make our HV Macerator. It's a similar story with the rubies. It pulverizes into crushed ruby ore, which is 1/6 each. So this is 1/3 ruby from the crushed ore and 1/3 of a ruby that you get immediately. Oh well, I just have to process these the old-fashioned way for now. Ore processing at MV takes the better part of forever, so let's do something else while that works, while that runs. One thing I want to highlight is that logistics pipes can actually handle fluids very well. I set this up while I was taking down all my Steve's Factory Manager stuff. So while it's basically the same way you have providers and suppliers for items, right? Providers insert items into the network, suppliers export them from the network. It's the same thing for fluids. It's just fluid providers insert fluids into the network, and fluid suppliers insert them, have them leave the network. And in fact, these are pretty good. You can configure them to have, keep any amount of fluid with any degree of precision, and then you can even specify, only do it in 1 bucket increments or only send the full amount. It can transport fluids here. Let me show you this. The fluids actually flow through the network in like their own little container. It's like pretty cute. You see that little thing coming by? Anyways, and now there's more chlorine in here. Aha. Next up, I want to make the logistics remote order. This will let us pull items out of our logistics pipe system anywhere, I believe. So I can take this up to any pipe, hit it, and be like, give me, a piece of tin ore. And what it'll do is the item will pop out of the pipe where I requested it. So it'll come here and jump out to me. Now putting items back into here, I believe I still need to, I still need to actually put them into a chest that's connected to that's being extracted from. But say, if I'm out here working on something and I realize, oh, I really need a MV machine frame, right? I can just request it from here without having to run all the way over to my request table, which is convenient to have available. You can also, I believe, link this to a remote order pipe and lets you remotely order items to this pipe. That's more useful when you have ender chests. You put the remote order pipe on the ender chest. That way, when you request items, it goes into the ender chest and you take a linked ender pouch to withdraw the items. But we don't have ender chests and ender pouches quite yet. So right now, this is just a nice little convenience that lets us withdraw items anywhere we have a pipe. Another thing you can do with this is order items into inventories. So say this iron chest here, right? If I wanted to put items in there, I could actually just order 2 stacks and they go into here. Now the fact that this chest is being auto extracted from is also kind of neat, because if I have stuff that's being auto crafted, what I can actually do is, say I need, I don't know, let's pick an item I don't have many of. But say I wanted to auto craft blueberry muffins, right? And I had a recipe for it. I can request 2 stacks of it to here. This obviously won't work because I can't make blueberry muffins automatically. But if I could, as they're crafted, they get put into this chest and immediately sucked back out. So this is a nice way to request auto crafting tasks and have them automatically get placed in storage. I can request auto crafting here, but if I do any of that, then it ends up, in this inventory here. And I probably don't want, I may or may not want it to clog up this inventory. So the remote order recently had its recipe changed. I think these diamantine crystals were like pulsating gems before, but now it's available at MV tier, which is awesome. Since last episode, I've also moved my world here over onto my personal server, so it's running even when I'm not logged in. And as a result, we are now 10,752 iterations on our Enderman data, with a lot of extraterrestrial data and pristine Enderman matter to our name. Each of these is 32 Ender Pearls. So we have basically all the Ender Pearls and a ton of EXP. If I just eat these, lots of EXP. And on top of that, my Tome of Knowledge is 100% full. So even more EXP available. I don't know what I'm going to do with all of this, but at some point we'll get access to the Hell Shelves, right, which will allow enchanting up to level 150, and we'll need it. So I might store this into like a cache or something that can hold, effectively infinite items. May as well use this EXP to enchant. I'm just enchanting a bunch of caches with holding and soulbound apparently. But when enchanted, they hold 80 or 90,000 items, and that's at basic tier. Once you upgrade them a couple tiers, they'll hold hundreds of thousands. So effectively infinite. Now let's switch gears from tech to magic and see if we can get our Runic Matrix up and running. The Runic Matrix is not a terribly difficult recipe, but it produces a lot of very useful things. First and foremost, right now, it's peace candles. Peace candles are let's see, they're only made in the Runic matrix, and what they do is they prevent natural mob spawning in a 3-chunk radius around it. It's a pretty big radius, but the reason this is important is because once we go to the moon, which is one of the pretty early goals in the HV era, mobs will start spawning even in lit areas. So right now our entire base is lit to prevent mob spawning. That stops working once we go to the moon. So while I suppose it's not a strict requirement that you make peace candles before then, you're gonna have a bad time if you don't. So let's work on the Runic matrix. The quest seems to think we need to make a caster's gauntlet first. Before we craft a caster's gauntlet, though, we should make the workbench charger. This just allows our arcane workbench to draw this in from all 9 adjacent, or from, I guess, all 8 adjacent chunks and the chunk it's in. So with it, we have a lot more vis available. Just a nice little convenience feature. Anyways, let's make some of these and the caster's gauntlet. Alright. That was easier than I expected. This can be used to cast spells as well as begin the infusions. I might look into spells this time around. Usually when I've played this version of Thaumcraft, I've just skipped the spells. They've never been necessary. But with combat being more difficult in this pack, maybe they'll be useful. I don't know. Anyways, the next step is to make the actual Runic matrix itself, which means I think I have to make this knacker that I've been putting off for way too long. It's not even difficult, I've just been, I don't know, I haven't wanted to do it. So here's my knacker system. It's fundamentally a fluid placer to place the mana, an item dropper to drop the gold nugget, and a fluid collector to pick up the product. It's powered by a timer, so every 200 ticks, which is 10 seconds, it pulses once. And this sequencer is just a pulse delayer. It delays the input signal for 9 seconds, which is it's a bit more than how long it takes for it to craft. But turn it on, wait 10 seconds for the first cycle, and once that ticks down, a nugget gets dropped, the mana gets placed, we wait a couple seconds. It is slightly vulnerable to, if you were to run in there and steal the nugget, then it's, well, I guess you stole the nugget. The system gets stuck if you do that. Don't do that. Anyways, then the product gets picked up and stored in a tank. The system is not the most intelligent. It doesn't turn off when, say, the outputs are full. So it's just about, you have to manually manage your inputs and outputs. Oh well. I don't know how much of this we're going to need. If we're going to need like millions of buckets, I'm going to have to do better than this setup. But if we're going to need hundreds of buckets, this is completely fine. I think the time it takes to craft might have a little bit of randomness to it. So I'm not sure if I gave it 9 seconds. I'm not sure if 9 seconds is enough 100% of the time. But there seems to be a fair amount of buffer between when the craft finishes and when I pick up the fluid, right? I think it's fine. After making the fluid form, you just mix it in a mixer, and you get the item form knacker. Unless this stuff has uses not shown in JEI, it looks like the only thing it can be done is turn into arcane stone. So I'll turn it all into arcane stone. And finally, we can make our Runic matrix. We're also going to need some pedestals. I managed to find 2 in dungeons, but they're basically free to make. So I'm just going to make a bunch more. I don't know exactly how many. I guess I could take a look. You probably want enough pedestals to do the largest recipes. But what is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I'm going to look through these to see if anything's more than 12, but 12 is a lot. So in second place, we have the Primordial Pearl, which apparently has a crafting recipe at 13 items, but our winner is the Ever-Shifting Fountain at 16 items. So we're going to need 17 total pedestals. Let's put our altar in this chunk here. We need some room around it for some other infrastructure, and it generates flux, so I don't necessarily want it right next to my other things, so I don't turn my base purple. Anyways, to make it, you start with a pedestal, a blank spot, and that, and then I think it's just 8 more pieces of arcane stone in the corners, if memory serves me right. I shouldn't be going off memory, I should have read the book, but then you click this somewhere. I think that's going to do it, and that turns it into the Runic matrix. Now I'm going to set up these pedestals around it in a way that is symmetrical. Let's see, I guess closer is better. Next up, we want to stabilize our altar. So right now our altar has 0 stability gain. You want more than that because almost all recipes produce instability. So you can stabilize it using skulls, any mob skull, any candle from Thaumcraft, and the big things though are these stabilizers from Thaumcraft. They actually eat instability events and make them go away. So let's make some number of stabilizers. I tend to like to have about 4 stabilizers. That lets you eat a lot of instability. In fact, just 4 stabilizers can probably craft the most dangerous of recipes on their own. But adding skulls and candles is very easy, so I will do so. Typically, I put them underneath the altar too, but there's not exactly space under the altar. I mean, I guess I could put it like on the water level. I don't know. I'll figure something out, but I'm thinking I'll probably just put it above ground this time. The stabilizers were kind of like, think about like redstone blocks, where any arcane pedestal that is powered by it will be protected by it. So it has a range of 15, and the pedestals can transmit the protection, but if there's no pedestal there, you need a piece of redstone inlay to transfer it. Anyways, our altar is now at 1.42 stability. There are recipes, I think, that are more unstable than that, but again, the stabilizers will eat any instability effects. If it becomes necessary, it's easy enough to add more skulls and candles too. Anyways, let's start making peace candles. Let's not make peace candles. I skipped like 30 million steps. So, first of all, we have to generate these aspects, the essentia, which has to be done by melting down items. And we need to build the melter thingamajigger for that. But we also need to make the inputs for here. So we need to do Keystone trials to get these corrupted glitch hearts, and we need to do a bit more blood magic in order to get severance reagents. These inputs we have, however, it takes a fair amount of will, 800, which I believe means we need at a minimum the common quality gem. So I guess we have to, okay, no, we can make the common quality gem in the Hellfire Forge if we can make imbued slates. I don't know, one way or the other. Let's start with the glitch hearts, because this is probably the most fun of the lot. Our options are either zombie or enderman trials, because I think those are the only 2 keys, or the only 2 data models that I have maxed. I think I can, if I make some modifications to my sword, I can make it one-shot enderman. So let's go for enderman trials. First of all, the freest damage you could ever get is the grindstone. You just sharpen your sword on it. I don't know how long you have to sharpen for, but it gets a 15% damage buff when it's sharpened. There we go. You see there at the top, right under the name, it says sharpened, 15% increased damage. And the next thing I want to do is enchant my sword with disjunction. While I'm doing it, I figure I may as well put life mending on it as well, because, I mean, it's not going to break, but life mending keeps it. It makes me happy to have it, alright? There's no good reason to put it on it otherwise. Anyways, disjunction just increases the damage you deal to endermen. To do the trials, you need a trial keystone and a attuned trial key. So to attune a key, you have to kill a mob with the data model in your inventory. So let's go find a enderman to kill, hopefully tonight, because there's only a couple levels, or a couple hours left in this night. Alright, it's raining. Finding endermen in the rain's impossible, because they die to the rain. I guess we have to wait until the next night cycle, probably, unless I can spawn endermen some other way. It's been a while since I've been here in my void world, but I came here to make some more infinity dust, because this should be able to spawn mobs. So with any luck, this will spawn some endermen for us. Well, it's spawning endermen, but they're immediately dying to the rain. I don't know why. They shouldn't be getting rained on in here, but I guess I have to wait for the rain to stop. Alright, I don't know what's wrong with Enderman AI in this world right now. As soon as they spawn, they're teleporting over the void and falling to their deaths. I've derped around in here long enough that it's almost nighttime, so once it's nighttime again, I guess I just kill them in the overworld. Hey, you tried to kill me earlier. I'm gonna get my revenge on you. Yeah, that's what I thought. Drop anything? Oh. Eye of Cyclops. Inflicts weakness to... Oh, okay. I mean, I guess that's good. I'll take it. Anyways, almost nighttime. Found ya. Let's see if we one-shot it. Oh, that wasn't even close to one-shotting it. I guess I didn't crit. Anyways, I should have attuned... I didn't attune any of my keys. Am I forgetting a step for attunement? Do I need to hold it? Huh, let me see. Let's try this again with the data learner on hand. Die? There we go. Now our trial keys are tuned. I think I needed to put the data model in the learner. Alright, so I have a bunch of attune keys. They all have different traits, but we can just run them and get the glitch hearts or whatever that come as a result. So 15 by 15 by 10, huh? I guess we need a bit more room. I guess it's time to expand the platform again so that we have room to do the trials. Thankfully, now that we have some technology, we can just copy paste gadget to expand. And as long as we keep our copy paste gadget fed with the right blocks, it's, I can build out one whole chunk in one click. Now that we have a bit more space, let's try this again. Does it not like the torches? Let's see. 15 by 15 by 10, there's definitely nothing besides torches in that range. Let me try removing the torches, I guess. Yeah, it looks like it was just all the candles I had around. Getting rid of them makes this happy. So if I build a dedicated arena, what I'll do is I'll just light it up with glowstone instead. Anyways, let me make sure I have these chunks claimed so that if any creepers show up, they don't damage it, and we can start. If you hit that with your time in the bottle, it goes faster. At least the waves start immediately upon the end of the previous one. So, at some point, a glitch. Is that the... I'm not sure. I guess that's this guy? I think we want to kill him because he's what drops the glitch hearts that we're after. There we go. Got some. Anyways, I'm just gonna keep killing stuff to clear this trial. Almost at the end of the trial. We got one glitch throughout, which means we get 7 total hearts. Which is, I guess not bad, right? Anyways, doing this manually takes way too long. Let's try to come up with a better way. So I did some tinkering, I guess you could say, and it turns out that any block in the 15 by 15 area, including, we've already seen that even just a candle, right, is enough to block it. That includes these shield blocks from RF Tools. It doesn't like that. And it doesn't count these shield blocks as solid, even if I set them as solid blocks for the floor below. So I can't just make the floor out of these shield blocks. So my plan is I will start the trial with the shield off, because it's happy like that. And then as soon as the trial starts, I'll turn the shield on, and that'll cause all the mobs here to take damage and die. That's the theory anyways. I haven't tried it out yet. This is only the tier 1 shield projector, so I'm kind of limited in size. I can't make the shield like all the way, very thick or very wide. In fact, this is almost a maximum size shield already. The tier 1 only goes to 256 blocks. Anyways, let's give it a shot. So I put my trial key in, start it up, turn you on. Well, it definitely damages them, and it seems to work. You have enough power? Yeah, it takes a little bit of power to damage them. That seems to work out. And then if I just accelerate this, all the mobs just spawn and die, including the glitches. Right? Oh no, I guess if I accelerate it, I don't pump quite enough energy into the shield generator, so I guess I shouldn't accelerate it. At least not until I can pump a bit more power into this system. But the gist is good. I think the exact details might need a little bit of work. Been doing a few more of these, and I found that as long as I don't accelerate this more than twice, I won't run out of power in my shield generator. So I guess it's just 2 acceleration ticks. And then these trials take like 20-30 seconds each as a result. 46 corrupted glitch hearts ought to be enough, I think. They're, only 1 each, right, for the candles? And each candle handles 3 chunk radius, so that's huge. 3 chunk rate, yeah. I mean, each one handles 49 chunks. I'm not going to need 46 corrupted glitch hearts. That's more than enough. All right, let's move on to the rest of the things for the peace candle then. Severance reagent. So I need to upgrade my Tartaric gem. This is new. I didn't expect that the blank slate would not be made in the blood altar. It still takes life essence, but not made in the blood altar. I wonder, is there a way to... Oh, there is. 10 millibuckets each, though. I was about to say, is there a way to make life essence without using the altar? But I think using the altar is probably easier. The worst part about this is how slowly the tier 1 blood altar actually drains blood out of it into other tanks. Maybe it's faster if I use a bucket? Like, that's the point I'm at here. Let's try the bucket, I guess. Because it does fill a bucket, right? Yeah, it fills a bucket way faster. It's taken forever to fill this drum, but now it's filled. It's taught me a valuable lesson. Fill your drums with blood before you need it. Anyways, now we can turn this into our blank slates. We need a tier 3 altar, so that's going to require these 28 runes, and they can be any type, but for now I'm just going to use blank because they're the easiest ones to craft. So if I have an exchanging gadget, which I don't, I can just swap them by hand. Putting the runes in alone, however, only gets our altar to tier 2. You see up there in our tooltip, we need the altar caps, the things that replace those pink cobblestones. Normally those are glowstone blocks. However, this pack lets them modified, and we need netherite. So I gotta get, it's from, it's like the old or the new nether material, ancient debris. Thankfully, I think the scanner can pick this stuff up. So let's make a trip to the nether and try to find some. Using a scanner, it's pretty easy to find up your first piece. The scanner also does locate, what is this, dimensional shard ore. So if you don't want dimensional shard ore, you can just use the scanner in block mode. Rather in block mode and tie it directly to ancient debris. But because I do kind of want the dimensional shard ore as well, I'm just going to use it in rare ores mode. And I'll just pick up both ancient debris and dimensional shard ore while I'm down here. Hello, scanner? There we go. I guess it lagged. This nether backport mod generates far more ancient debris than vanilla Minecraft does. In fact, it's so much that I found it easier just to hold down left click and dig around, and eventually you'll reveal some. And I don't even need all that much. But yeah, just going around a little bit, I already have 36 pieces. You have to be kind of mindful of lava when you dig like this though, but whatever. Here's a couple more. 2 ways to process this debris. You can either smelt it for 1 or starlight infuse it for 4. I don't have the starlight infuser yet, even though it's very easy to make, and the containment chalice to power it is not that difficult to make. This was so easy to mine that I'm going to do the unthinkable and not bother quadrupling it. Then you get 4x yield when you go netherite scrap to netherite ingots in the alloy smelter. So if you do quadruple your netherite scrap, each piece of ancient debris can get you 16 netherite ingots. Which is... Wait, oh no, you don't quadruple it, never mind. You only get 1. Alright, well I take that back. You can only get 4 ingots per... 4 netherite ingots per ancient debris block. Still, you don't need... I mean, netherites... I guess you can make netherite tools. Mining level -1, huh? They're probably not that useful in modded here, but... Ooh, netherite boots. I don't know, I'll give it a look, but I'll probably just end up using it for the altar caps. Well, I was going to upgrade my sword to a netherite sword, but apparently you lose your enchantments when you do the upgrade. I know vanilla, you keep your enchantments, but I guess it's not a perfect port. Oh well. Those altar caps have made our altar into tier 3, which is what we need to make the 1 imbued slate to make our common tartaric gem. Let's turn a slate up. Let's upgrade our tartaric gem. Takes minimum 240, and I had exactly 240 left in my gem. How convenient. Alright, so now I have to fill this one up to at least halfway-ish, I think. I can drain the 190 out of this, but I'm still going to have to go farm some mobs. A little bit of gem farming later, and we have all of our severance reagents. Next, then, I think just leaves the creation of the Essentia. I'm kind of curious, can I take apart one of these thaumatoriums that I found in dungeon loot and get the components out of it? I just... Oopsies. Yep, that gives me my alchemical construct. I guess I don't get everything back. I was hoping to get the crucible as well, but I'll take what I can get. Saves me the trouble of making, well, an alchemical construct. Oh, I lied. I did get the crucible as well. Huh. We can melt items down into their respective essentia in the essentia smeltery. So my plan is to just feed it from here. It runs faster if you use aluminium as fuel, although you can just use regular furnace fuels as well. I'm going to start with Motus because that's a pure source. So just put it in here, it melts, and then gets distributed to the alembics. Having auxiliary slurry pumps makes it just use all 3. Anyways, the quest book alluded to something that I haven't ever figured out before. If you use these, I guess that's all you have to do. Put filling essentia transfusers on your alembics, and they will wirelessly send your essentia to nearby warded jars. That's super cool. It's like way better than the old way of doing it, which involved filling them by hand. Wow, that's really, really cool. Anyways, the aspects I need are Lux, Ordo, and Modus. So we already got Modus as a pure source. Ordo, unfortunately, I couldn't find a pure source besides like the crystal, but lead ingot contains 1/3 Ordo. Good enough. And torches contain Lux. So once all this melts down, it'll all be in these various jars. It seems to be even smart enough to like fill one jar before moving on to the next. I bet if you use labeled jars, it'll even prefer to use put them in labeled jars before putting it in unlabeled jars. Much better than the old Essentia piping system that they're used to use in Thaumcraft. Anyways, I'm going to let these resources process down, and then I think we'll be ready to make our peace candles. Our items have finished melting down into their essentia forms. I've set up some hoppers to automatically feed in items to the pedestals. So I think I should just have to start the infusion. It'll automatically pull the essentia from the jars, assuming they're in range. Maybe they're too far. Let's see. Based on the fact that the numbers aren't going down, I assume my jars might just be out of range. Let me see how big the range on the runic matrix is. I'm going to try using Essentia mirrors to send the Essentia to the altar. The altar has a 12 block range, so it reaches like here, but all of my Essentia is past there. So by linking the 2 Essentia mirrors, I suspect that... no, it works. The Essentia can flow into the mirror, and then magically out of the other end of the mirror into the altar. And then I can just accelerate the altar to make things faster. And then I should just pull out the final product, start the next infusion. And I'm going to do this and make, I think I have it set up to make 16 peace candles. Our peace candles are crafted. I just have to spread these out around the base to make sure I cover the entire base. But in the time it's taken to make these and whatever else we did today, we've made a little bit of chrome and manganese, which means we should be able to pull some stuff here and make some stainless steel. All right, we have a bit over a stack of stainless steel dust, and I think for our last thing today, we can start turning it into ingots. So tomorrow when we come back, we'll be able to start making, this is the input. We'll be able to start making HV machines and stuff. Takes a little while to cook stainless steel, and it uses a lot of power to do so, but it's a necessary thing to get into HV. So that's all I have for today. We'll be back and start doing HV things tomorrow. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I hope to see you in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.